Hey, welcome to the All of You podcast.
We're your hosts. I'm Siobhan Roy.
And I'm Dave Martinell.
Our relationship hasn't always been easy. Especially in the beginning, we were getting in the worst conflicts that sent us down a path of deep healing and inner work in order to get the relationship that we wanted.
So whether you're on your own healing journey or just looking to improve your relationships overall, we hope that by sharing our lessons and struggles, we help you along your way.
And with that, welcome to the podcast where we accept all of you.
We had a great evening last night.
Yeah, we did.
We did yoga, really got to settle into our bodies and get out of our mind and the mental tension that is around us some days.
Yeah, I did not want to fit yoga in yesterday. There's so many moving parts and things going on right now, but I'm so glad we did.
I needed it. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I'm doing all this physical labor in the yard and I could easily justify why I don't need to go do a workout class, but yoga is more for my mind. And in that dark room, it's summertime, I want to go to the beach, I want to surf. I don't want to be in a dark room doing yoga necessarily, but it fits a certain need of mine that is kind of necessary. So yoga it fills the soul. It's just an energy that I can't really replicate anywhere else. That hot yoga.
Yeah, and I think in a season where we're pouring out a lot, it's one way we get poured into.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the time for ourselves to recenter and refocus and calm the mind, get into the body.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The things that were serving me really well when I was in a strict routine with work, like going to the office every day, reading in the morning was so clutch for me. And I'm struggling to read in the morning. I wake up and the thoughts of the day kind of attack me a little bit with what do I need to accomplish, all these things, because it's on me to get it done. So then really my relaxation time and feeding myself has been more in the evening, has been kind of better, because right when I wake up, my brain is firing and I can use that for work. It is 8 o'clock right now, 8:30, and we're already set up, got ready, and recording the podcast and we read a little bit this morning. So I still try to read in the morning, but I'm not reading as much as I was in the morning. And so I need to, it's just it's interesting how different seasons you have to adjust your techniques with how you take care of yourself.
Well, and our needs change also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Creating a lot of content has left me really struggling with consuming content. I can barely consume to support the people I want to support on Instagram. I can't. I really need to unfollow a ton of people that I don't know, not that I don't care to support, but I don't have capacity to support, really is what it comes down to, because I'm struggling to keep up with supporting people online. It's tough. So I don't know, just different seasons.
Yeah. Well, with that said, let's jump into the topic this week.
Yeah. So it's been on my heart because we struggle with this daily because
Wait, what's on our heart?
Yeah, well, we struggle with this topic daily, which is half the time I find my mind trying to tell me to be scared, and in this scarcity mentality, because we both went from making pretty decent money at our jobs to no income for a while and pursuing our own business and practice and creative ventures, and my mind will panic on me and go into scarcity mentality. A good 50% of the time I'm battling that, and the other half is this completely abundant, rejuvenated, like, mindset of, wow, look at what's happened in the course of a few months. It's pretty insane, actually, to think about what's happened. Not just doors opening and people we've met, things like that has been insane, but in our hearts, like how we've changed over the course of even a few months. Like, how different are you today than you were 3 months ago?
Radically different.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I lived in a scarcity mindset most of my life, I would say, mostly around finances, where the decisions for the jobs I took were made out of a scarcity mindset of like, okay, what's going to pay me the most? And so many decisions in my life were like, and it's not just out of scarcity. I think like beneath the scarcity mindset is really a fear based mindset of like, am I going to have enough? Is everything going to work out? And shifting into an abundance mindset, which is really what we want to talk about today, has been a growth process that was not overnight. I didn't learn about abundance mindset and then all of a sudden have an abundance mindset, but the process of, I guess it's corny to say, but like the journey of moving from a scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset has radically changed my life. And I would say that that journey has been over the last 1 year, I would say, because it's been, I think next month is 1 year since I quit my job. And my fear in quitting my job was 100% financial. I did not think we would be okay if I quit my job. And that was such a fear-based decision. I did not have the abundance mindset of I can quit and there will be more opportunities. I had a scarcity mindset that kept me really, really stuck. And over this past year, leaning more into an abundance mindset, which we'll go into a little bit more later of like, what is an abundance mindset? Just so many more doors are opening and opportunities and things are flowing that my fear kept me from being able to reach when I was in this like season of scarcity. And when I say season, I mean previous, 33 years of life I lived in that mindset. So all of that to say, I should probably explain what
the topic is.
Well, the topic is abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, but I think it's probably important to go into what is an abundance mindset.
And I don't want to paint the picture of like supreme optimism and almost like
toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Because it's not that.
It's not that. It's an intuition-based thing where you are trying to live in reality. Because I'm a big fan about, I say it all the time, living in reality to me is mental health. And the reality of a situation, if you are making minimum wage and you are in a scarcity mentality about money and you need to drive an extra mile somewhere to get cheaper gas because you've calculated it and it's worth it for you to save that $5 like that. I get that.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah. And so I don't want to say just dream, just think, but where abundance mentality comes from for me is belief in yourself and the self-confidence to know that you can figure it out. So don't put yourself in a bind. Take the risks you need to take, but calculated risks. And it's all it's a very personal thing. It's like your finances. I mean, basically that's what we're talking about, but we're not just talking about abundance mentality in the financial aspect. So I think most of our mind goes to money, but there's so many ways that you can talk about scarcity versus abundance mentality in relationships, in love. And if you're really insecure in your relationship, you might have a scarcity mentality around the connection with your partner. And so you're intimidated by a connection that they have with a coworker because you think that that's going to take away from your connection. Where if you have abundance, it's like, no, their coworker can make them laugh and you can make them laugh. It doesn't just have to be you, like things like that. Like it just displays everywhere in our life. When we have scarcity mentality versus abundance, it comes out everywhere. This is like the root of our filter, kind of.
Yeah, I see it as there is enough for everyone in everything. So in a business sense, I remember being in sales and working for companies where other sales reps would not share what was working for them because they wanted to hit a higher quota. I've worked in sales atmospheres that are collaborative where everyone shares what's working for them and then we all are hitting higher numbers, right? So in a business sense, it's like, hey, let's share what's working and we'll all do better. But when you have scarcity mentality, you're like, this is mine and I'm going to hold on to the secret. And ultimately, that's where scarcity holds you back because you holding on to your secrets creates an environment where others are not trusting you with their secrets. So you aren't sharing and collaborating, and then no one's rising because you're not working together. And that is applicable to not just business, but it's applicable to our personal lives, the way we grow, our relationships. It's a mentality. If you can shift your mindset into the more I give away, the more I will receive, we have seen that is the case. Yeah. And it's true with money. It's true with supporting friends. I even have an abundance mindset of this podcast.
Yeah.
When we first started talking about, okay, let's launch a podcast on healing and personal growth, we looked at each other and I was like, there's probably 5 million of them out there. Why should we?
Why us? Why should we do
us? Who would listen to us? It's already been done. That is scarcity mindset.
We would have never done it.
We would have never done it. And the truth is, I actually don't believe there will ever be enough people talking about this subject. That's the abundance mindset. So if my best friend or truly anyone listening to this was like, hey, I'm inspired by what you're doing, I want to do it too. And they would want me to, I would be happy to share everything I've learned to help them on their journey because I have an abundance mindset. I'm not like, no, I need everyone to listen to our podcast. I'm not going to resonate with everyone.
Yeah.
Someone else is going to be able to hit a different audience that's going to resonate with them. And then the greater mission, it is spread more widely. That's a beautiful thing. Let me help you get there. And I firmly believe if we can help others, it just comes back around. And we've already seen that. And also, this is just a side note tangent, but a core belief of mine is that it just feels so good to give, and it feels so good to support others and see them be successful and cheer them on. And that's also how the energy comes back to you, because when you're supporting others and that feels good, you're literally getting a good feeling in your body, which changes your energy. So you are vibrating on a better frequency, and the higher frequency you vibrate on, the more you attract good things. So that's one way that it energetically comes back around. And some of you might be going, wow, she is off the deep end on this one with her woo-woo-ness. But it's something I've experienced so deeply. And
you've done a lot of work in this area.
Yeah. That was quite the rant. But
no, keep going. I mean, I think you're so qualified to talk about this subject because you battle it so hard. I kind of naturally have a little bit more abundance mentality around money and things like that. I've seen it a lot. And my career was kind of built off of it, to be honest. The more I helped my friends get where they want to go, the more they helped me get where I want to go. And that really helped me see that. And my old boss was actually really good at this. Like, he really believed in an abundance in that way and taught me a lot of that. So I felt very grateful to have such a mentor, my old COO. But yeah, you have definitely done work in this area. So I think you're really qualified to talk about it.
Yeah. And because I had a very high scarcity mindset, really specifically when it came to finances and career.
Yeah, you were like a squirrel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You've never seen a squirrel like me. I had nuts everywhere hidden. But I never had that mindset when it came to friendships, relationships, like personal life. I much more had an abundance mindset. My scarcity mindset in career and finances came from some wounds. And so the process of moving to abundance was not just a click in the brain of a mindset change. It was actually an inner work of healing the wounds that I had in that area, and the wounds that were creating these false beliefs that I had about money and about my career, and a lot of limiting beliefs in that area. So it wasn't just, hey, stop thinking in scarcity and start thinking in abundance. It was removing really deeply held blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also learning that they were blocks, and and that's, I think, the message of this episode, because I can't go in and heal those listening right now. I'd have to sit with you one-on-one and work through that with you. But I can say, if you can recognize that you have a mindset where you lean more towards scarcity, there is this mindset that is more abundance. There is abundance mindset. And if you want to do the work to shift your life into an abundance mindset, that's something that can be done. And I'm a testament to that. And where I think one of the biggest ways that that shift has impacted me is living in a day-to-day, like my thoughts circling more fear related than opportunity related. So this fear of, am I going to have enough money? This fear of, I remember before we met, it was like fear of like, will I meet my person? Are there good guys out there? Like, are there enough of them? Like
Scarcity and mentality in dating can kill you.
Totally.
I remember dating someone really early on after my divorce, and I shouldn't have been dating. And I was talking to a therapist about, like, I need time to heal. I need to, and she was like, well, then why? Like it was like week after week for a couple weeks. Like, you need to be single and work on yourself right now. And I was like, I feel like it's musical chairs. And in my mind, I had a core belief that I'm in my 30s and and everyone's getting taken, kind of, and more people are linking. I mean, you were almost not on the market. You were looking to date people. So if I would have waited to date you, pursue you, you could have been not on the market by the time I was ready, right? So there was this scarcity mentality that I had around dating that was like, and I felt like it was musical chairs. And the longer I wait, the more people are taking the chairs, and then I'm going to be the one left without the chair. And she corrected me and went, people are getting into relationships every day, but also people are getting single every day, breaking up and going through divorces or whatever. You don't know who don't have that mentality. That mentality, I get it. It makes sense if you want to spin it from that perspective, but it's not serving you. Like, your journey is your journey, and you need to honor your journey. And then that's what's attractive, and that's what will actually attract in a loving partner. So it wasn't until I got okay being single that I actually was able to have a relationship with you. 6 months prior to us dating, I would have been too soon. Like I needed all the time I could get by the time I met you.
Right. Well, and I think scarcity mindset can have you settling because you're like, at least I have someone.
Yeah.
Instead of searching for the right person or someone on your level.
This plagues, and this might be a hot take, but this plagues women in our society because we were just talking about that. There's so few good men. And I think it's coming around a little bit, but I hope, but there's so few good men that women definitely have a scarcity mentality when they're single and looking at the market.
That's actually, I want to press into that. Is the belief that there are few good men just a true fact, or is that scarcity mindset?
Well, it's this. I mean, this is a great analogy for what we're actually digging into, which is when there's scarcity, when there is actually scarcity in the market, is it good to have a scarcity mentality and jump, or does an abundant mentality still serve you?
Yeah. What I'm curious what your answer to that would be.
So I think this is why toxic positivity is not good, where you're just having this crazy abundant mentality and never taking action, because scarcity can allow you to take action and understand the reality. And so I think you need to get into reality. So I do believe there's few good men. I think it's hard to be what I believe God calls us to be as a man. I think it's really difficult because, I mean, we can go into masculinity and what I believe that is. And I think it's just tough to bear that burden, I think. But I also think it's really hard to be a good woman too. But there's few people doing that. So the scarcity, I believe, is there. It just is. There's not a lot of them. And I think the ones that are probably have a good woman pushing them in that already. Like very, very few men are probably pursuing divine masculinity while they're single. I think there's more women pursuing their divine feminine that are single because they're trying to call in love. I think there's more women who are single reading books on relationships, trying to prepare themselves to have a family and to be a good woman. And I think men are kind of like, I'm gonna have as much fun and live in my feminine and in the experience as much as I can until I meet a woman, and then I'll do the thing. Then I'll man up and I'll live that way. So it's tough. So I think there is scarcity. The question is, does a scarcity mentality serve you when there is scarcity? I think it's a blend of both. I think living in reality is where you want to go. So what's the reality if you're a single woman? The reality is there's scarcity. But the reality is also having that scarcity mentality will cause you to settle. So know there's scarcity and maybe come down. So here's my answer. I'm verbally processing it. When there actually is scarcity, my suggestion would be bring your expectations down one notch.
Oh.
Just one notch.
What?
Just one notch.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Because, I don't know. Actually, maybe you're right. You know what my answer would be? Listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
Listen to your intuition.
Much better answer.
If you believe, taking this example and kind of running with it, if you believe that there is scarcity and you see a man that you see potential in, and you feel called to love that man, go for it. I mean, I wouldn't give somebody there's a lot of relationship
I gotta
advice.
kind of stop you right there, because you said if you see potential, go for it. And I wouldn't advise anyone to
date for potential.
I think that's a little...
But that's a hot topic. That's a hot topic that people say, don't date for potential. Don't date for potential. I fully dated you for potential.
Yeah, I dated you for potential too.
So, like, if you're trying to
but would you advise someone to take our path? Our path was gnarly.
100%. I think our path was hard because of where we were at. But I think, what are you going for? It all depends on the person. So I'd need more details about the person. But I would say, what do you want and need? If your desire is to find a partner that will grow with you and heal with you and pursue this thing that you build together, that's a family or a business or a life together, and you want to create that safety and intimacy in your relationship and call in this space of healing that can provide healing to others, then you're dating somebody for their potential. Because likely when you meet them at 25, 30, 35, they're not going to be, I am not the partner that you will have in 10 years. I will be better. And that's my commitment.
But that's not a guarantee with anyone you date.
So that's where
dating for potential is really
that's where I'm
risky.
Okay. Well, that's where I'm okay with dating for potential. So I am okay with dating for potential when your partner looks at you and goes, I'm going to be better in 10 years. I know you want me, I know you want X, Y, Z, but that's on me right now. So I've looked at you 1,000 times and gone, if you're not okay with where I'm at, you can pass on me, but your choice. But so be okay with where I'm at, but also know I'm going to be better in 5 years. I'm going to be better a year from now. I'm going to be better a month from now.
Well, I know that because you've shown me that. The amount you've grown in the 3 years we've been together has established a trust that you are on a growth path. And so I feel confident and comfortable moving forward with knowledge of that. Whereas I think early in dating, it's a little riskier dating for potential.
It's not. This is kind of I think this is a buzzword and people get hung up on this. Don't date for potential. Don't date for potential. I 100% disagree with that. If you're looking for a growing relationship, if you are looking for a partner to link up with and grow and chase the stars with, or who knows, sky is the limit, abundance, you are seeing their potential and you want to help them achieve their potential and they want to help you achieve your potential. So let's X the word potential. Find someone that you see is growing and is in a growth trajectory. And you won't have to worry about dating them for the potential. Find somebody who wants to achieve their full potential and is on that path, and you don't have to date them for their potential. You'll be so attracted to their desire to grow that it's just going to happen. Do you get what I'm saying?
That I can agree with, yeah.
You wouldn't let me get it out, though.
I know, because I felt like I could say it more concisely and it just wanted to come out of me so badly, was that's the crux of it, is mutual agreement on living a life where you're trying to grow. So if you're both on a growth path and you're committed to helping each other grow, that is way different than dating for potential.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not, because if you meet somebody that is in a certain place in life where they had a death in the family, or they're struggling with depression or anxiety, like you're accepting where they're at that moment. And so like I know we're going to go through seasons in life that are difficult. So just because I meet you when you're in a difficult season, I'm going, you're not the person that I want you to be, so I'm not going to date you. Like, I think we're analyzing people for the wrong thing here. You know, if I was dating the dating scene, I wouldn't like look at somebody and be like, you have this job, you make this money, you are who you are today. I'm kind of looking at like, what path are you on? Are we on the same path? Because that's forward thinking, and that's, I think, more sustainable. Just because we sync up in this moment doesn't mean anything about our future. We actually didn't sync up in the moment. We did not date each other for where we were at. We dated each other for our potential in the relationship, 100%. And I actually agree with that. I think if you agree with your partner, and you can kind of you can judge your partner and go, are they talking out of both sides of their mouth, or are they really down for this life? If they're really down for this life, they're 100% committed to this growth path with me, sign up right away. Put a ring on it.
I'll add one caveat to that, because I always have to. Don't do that if they tell you they're committed to that life. Do that if they show you.
Yeah.
There has to be action behind it. You have to see that someone is actually putting in the work and wants that. Because I think just talk is really cheap. Coming from a podcaster, it's quite ironic, but still believe talk is cheap. It's really about what you show and what you do.
I know, that was a fun tangent.
Yeah, that was a wild tangent that we did not plan on going down. A little rabbit hole.
But it is true. Like, the scarcity mentality is just not helpful. Like, let's paint a different picture, just in case we want to scrap that. If it's too wild, it was pretty wild. Like the housing market. If you're not aware that there's scarcity on the housing market, and you take too long to put down that offer, you might not get the house. Like, I had to jump on this house. But I think that's where the preparation of abundance is helpful. I guess, because when you know, then you know, and you can make that jump and just go full in on something. So there's a balance.
Yeah, and I think it's a shift away from anxiety and into gratitude. And the way that I see that work in my life is when I'm super grateful for everything I have. I'm like, our house is a project. We live in a construction site. It's a complete fixer-upper. But
I don't know anything different at this point.
But I'm so grateful for it that I don't see the negative in that, because I'm so grateful we own this home. And I see that that's kind of the lens I look at everything in my life is I'm so grateful that when I get more, it all feels like gravy, because I'm so content with what I have right now that everything feels like gravy, and that state allows me to live in a higher frequency where I feel more calm, I feel more present, I feel happier, and I feel like I actually attract more positive things. And I actually don't even know if it's true or not. I just see it that way because my mind sees it that way.
It's just a better mindset.
Yeah, like we just put in a driveway, and it was really expensive to put in a driveway. Old me would have had so much fear and anxiety about spending that money to put that in, especially when we're not bringing in an income right now. But the way that I saw it was we got multiple bids. And basically a gentleman fell into our lap who was a quarter of the price of everyone else we found. And I'm like, oh my
Where did you
gosh,
come from?
we just saved thousands of dollars. So I didn't even look at it as like this scarcity of I can't believe we're spending money. I'm like, oh my gosh, we were so blessed by this gentleman. We saved what we were intending to spend, and I'm not anxious about it. Whereas I used to be, spending money was so anxiety inducing for me in the past, like large amounts of money. When I bought my car, I didn't sleep for 2 days. I was like, I can't believe I spent money on a car, which is like, I needed a car. It's a practical purchase, but it's still, I had so much scarcity mindset that I was filled with anxiety, and it was debilitating at times. But now when we are bringing people in to help work on the house, I'm like, oh, them helping with that is allowing us to free up time, and we get to do this. And so it's like everything is seen through this lens of abundance, and it keeps, I don't have the anxiety that I used to have, which allows me to live more peacefully, and I'm making better choices because I'm not making them from a place of fear and a place of anxiety, which I used to really live in that world. And when you can shift out of that, out of fear, out of anxiety, which are all really negative vibrations, and you can shift into a higher vibration, you start attracting better things. I know I kind of went into this a little bit in the beginning, and it seems absurd in concept, but watching it play out in reality is beautiful and inspiring. And then the more that I see how thinking abundantly impacts my day to day, the more I want to do it. So
you can start to find on your own your limiting beliefs because they kind of show themselves to you. You're like, why did I think that that's not possible? Or why am I selling myself so short here? If somebody else can do it, why can't you? If someone else can do that thing, if someone else has started a podcast, if someone else has become a Nobel Prize winner, why can't you? There's no reason.
Well, that's where the intersection of abundance mindset and limiting beliefs hit each other, and you have to figure out, it's a personal journey to figure out if you have a limiting belief telling you that you can't do what it is you want to do, and then you have to go and rewire that belief.
But yeah, you're reading a book, and I remember you telling me about the topic of like a ceiling.
I'm reading a book right now by Gay Hendricks where he talks about how we have an upper limit. A lot of us have a limit in which we allow ourselves to feel happiness and success and abundance and positivity and good things. And when we hit that limit, we can actually self-sabotage because we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Things can't be this good. This doesn't feel right. This is beyond what I've felt before. This is beyond what I'm comfortable with. And so we'll actually do things subconsciously to bring ourselves back down. So we can get our dream job and go, no, I'm not qualified for it. I'm not good enough. I'm going to take this other job where I feel like I could actually crush it. I can't stretch myself for that dream job. Like that would be too good. That's my limit. And it's a very subconscious thing that we do. But it stops us from reaching the abundance that I believe God wants for us. He wants to bless us, but we get in our own way when we reach these limits where we're like, no, I can't feel that good. That feeling is uncomfortable in that much goodness in my body feels uncomfortable. I got to go back down to my level in my zone. That feels like my baseline. and feels right for me. And I can resonate with that really deeply because my baseline was with a lot of fear. Fear is my baseline, and I thought that would keep me safe. So if I operate from this place of scarcity where I'm like, hold on to your money and hold on to
your singlehood, your
control, big one. Yep. If I hold on to all of that, I'll be safe. And it's just couldn't be further from the truth.
Well, it doesn't get you what you want.
Yeah.
You have to let go in order to get what you want. So that's what's weird. Like, we think that by holding on and that we can build on what we're holding on to. So it's like everything in my life, I'm just going to add to it. So as I grow, everything's going to be additional to what I have. It's not the case. As I grow, I'm going to have to let go of certain things I'm holding on to right now in order to get to that next thing. So as I level up and as I move into embody a new character, a new sense of being, I'm going to have to let go of just different mindsets that I was holding on to previously that kept me safe there. They may have served me or felt like they served me. They probably, my brain thought they served me because I had some type of positive reinforcement that was like, see, I spent money on this thing, and then I had people give me positive reinforcement because I had this nice car or had these things, and I'm not putting the energy where I want it to go to be the person that I actually want to be. Like, at some point, I had to look in the mirror and go, who the hell do you want to be? Like, who do you want to be? And answer that question. I went, I want to love well. I want to be in a loving relationship where I'm not just being loved, but I'm loving well as well. Like, my partner is being loved well by me. I want to be a good dad. I want to start a podcast and have some form of flexibility in my business so that I can use my time and energy to help people instead of produce reports because my boss thinks it's important, and just be on command with a phone call. Anytime they call, I have to answer. I just don't want to be on call like that anymore. I want to be able to give my energy to those who need it and those I feel like I can help. And so I just had to look in the mirror and decide, who do you want to be in this world? Do you want to be someone that every time you go out with your family, you're kind of thinking, oh, there's no alcohol there? Like, that's kind of a bummer that there's no alcohol. We should bring our own beers and put them in a coffee mug so we can have beers there. Like, is that who you want to be? Or do you want to be okay without alcohol? I think a lot of times our answer to that question of who do we want to be is probably beyond our upper limit, and we're not willing to address those limited beliefs, and we're not willing to let go of the thing. So in order to be the person I wanted to be, I had to let go of some alcohol. Like, it's okay to have a beer or whatever, but I had too much of an attachment to alcohol, and that was wrong. And I would never be able to achieve where I wanted to go if I was so attached to just even having like a beer in my system.
Yeah, totally. There's one point that I really want to make with this, and I want to make it really clear. Abundance mindset, especially when it comes to finances, is not, I'm going to go buy a Ferrari because I believe I'm going to make more money next month. That's not what I'm preaching here. And actually, I would say maybe I am preaching that to a specific person who's at an income level where buying a Ferrari is a drop in the bucket for them. Then, like, by all means, that person go buy the Ferrari. But I'm not saying spend your money and just know more money is going to always be coming in. I am saying believe in abundance mindset, that you are capable of making more money. Have that mindset, but check your intuition before you make massive purchases. I'm not saying like forget all common sense and just spend your money like crazy, knowing more will come. That's not the message by any means. Always make sure you are in sync with your intuition when making big decisions. And that's for really, I think that would be my advice to anyone making any decision in any aspect of their life is, did you check your intuition first? Did you sit with yourself before you made that decision? So wanted to add that caveat before I get like a DM from someone's wife, like, my husband just bought a new Ferrari because of you, and she's mad at me. I'm going to be like, no, I told him not to.
Yeah, I think to me, it kind of comes down to more the investing in yourself. And the best investment that we ever made was to invest in ourselves and spend money on learning things like that changed my life, is to make an investment on myself. I had never gone to college. I didn't believe in spending money on my own learning. And so when I finally got willing to invest in myself and go, this is an investment I'm making. And I think college can kind of be weird because people go to college for an experience. And so some people get this when they go to college, where they're like, I'm going to invest in my degree and I'm going to invest in myself. And they kind of get that mindset fixed. For those people that don't necessarily believe that. And so investing purely on your own personal growth is a huge limiting belief if you're kind of stuck in this mindset of like, I can't afford it. It's like, well, you can't afford not to, because that's what's keeping you stuck. If you invested $5,000 on a course that helped you make $100,000 more a year, is it worth it? Like, if you invest in some microphones to start the podcast you want to start and then have the life you want, is that not worth it? But it's hard to do that. It's hard for some of us to make that initial investment because our mind plays tricks on us and goes, but what if it fails? What if it doesn't succeed? Then I'm wasting the money.
And that is scarcity mindset.
Yes. And that's where it doesn't serve you. So your mind kind of can play this tricks on you. I don't think scarcity mindset's wrong. Like, sometimes we're in survival mode and it's go time. And there's not a lot of time. Like, we're planning a wedding at the house. There's dirt in the yard. I kind of have scarcity mindset where I have hustle mindset right now. And I need that. And that's okay. But not to the point where it puts my system on overdrive and I'm running my mental health into the ground, because my mental health is where my quality of life is. And it's also where you can be used to help other people, is if you have good mental health. So I don't know. It's just this thing where you're trying to balance scarcity and abundance and understand your intuition is right, but your mind isn't always right. And I think this is a big part of it too, is understanding the difference between your mind and your intuition, your mind and your heart. Your mind is going to play all kinds of tricks on you. You're supposed to check it with your heart. You got to know the difference between your mind and your intuition. Your mind is going to play tricks on you, and your mind is going to throw all kind of scarcity and limiting beliefs at you because it's trying to solve the problem. Your heart knows whether it's time to be scarcity or time to save or time to be abundant. And you kind of can feel that. Because we actually make purchases out of scarcity too. I could go buy a truck right now out of scarcity.
How would that be out of scarcity?
Because I convince myself I need it. So purchases can come from out of scarcity. We can buy clothes out of scarcity. So like we get annoyed and we don't feel, and our mind starts playing tricks on us. Like, I don't have enough clothes. I don't feel good about myself. And so it's this insecurity that's happening. And then we go make purchases out of insecurity. Those aren't the proper purchases to make because they're not they're not an investment. They're not. Abundance mentality is, I have a job interview coming up and I don't really feel like anything that I wear feels like me, that I'm going to present myself well. If I go buy a $50 shirt or a $100 shirt, whatever it is, it's going to be a good investment because I'm going to it's going to help me embody who I need to be and who I'm trying to become to get this job. And that's an abundant purchase. A scarcity purchase looks exactly like that, but while you're looking in the closet, your mind is playing tricks on you and it's telling you you don't have enough clothes, but you really do. And your intuition knows.
Well,
You know?
I think that word right there when you said it, enough. When your mind goes to anything that is, I am not enough, I don't have enough. When you hear that word enough,
Yeah.
that's scarcity.
You're right. That word enough is key, and kind of just knowing, like, is it worth it? And I don't think it's a perfect balance. We can't expect to get this right 100% of the time, but we can start to feed our intuition and realize, like, when I'm making purchases out of abundance versus scarcity. When I'm making a purchase out of abundance, it's an investment. It's an investment to grow myself. It's an investment for my family. It's an investment for something bigger and greater that I feel called to do and be. It's a becoming. I'm becoming this person. When I'm making a decision or purchase out of scarcity, it's, I don't feel like I'm that person and this thing is going to make me that person. Not accurate. That thing isn't going to make you that person. That thing is just a tool. So if you have the right, and I'm still learning this myself, but if you have the right posture of the heart towards things, and you realize that those things aren't a part, those things are not you, those things are just tools. So yes, if you're broke and you have no clothes and you have a job interview, it might be a good purchase to go buy a new shirt for that job interview, or shoes, or a suit if you need to. That might be a good purchase. You might spend your last $100 in your bank account to go buy an outfit for a job interview, and that could be an abundant purchase. I don't know. Like, it's up to the situation and the person to kind of check their heart and go, am I making this purchase out of feeling like I'm not enough, or am I making this purchase because it's going to help me this is a tool that's going to help me get to where I want to go. That's my feeling in my body that I check things through now. And I don't get it right 100% of the times. I still make purchases out of scarcity, but I'm really trying hard not to.
How do you apply the abundance mindset to our relationship?
I can actually love. Like, that's where love is. Love is abundant. And so when I can show you love and forgive you for, maybe overreacting to a situation or making us late or little things that kind of annoy me, I can let them go because I'm not playing this game where I'm scared that it's not going to come back to me. If you make us super late, and you know how frustrated that makes me, and I don't get mad at you, in return, I get everything I want from you.
That's so true.
Yeah, because I'm not playing the game of I need in a moment to get even. I'm not keeping score. I'm not trying to make it so that way I don't get hurt. That's a scarcity mentality in a relationship. I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to be hurt inside of the relationship. And so you're always playing defense. Scarcity mentality is defense. Abundance mentality is offense. If I'm playing the game where I don't want to get hurt by you, then I'm playing to defend and protect my heart. If I'm playing the game of abundance, I'm playing the game to love you better and always be more loving. And then in return, I get everything back that I want from you. Every single time that I don't play defense, I put down the shield and I just let you hurt me. I let you hurt me however you hurt me. I let you frustrate me. I let you make us late. I let you get caught up in your emotions and your experience and kind of just overreact to a situation or feel all that emotions. And I just let it be. And I don't get frustrated that we're supposed to have a date night. And so you're supposed to feel a certain way and about me previous. Like the date night goes better if I just let you let it out. And if you're feeling insane or overwhelmed or whatever on the drive there, if I let you let it out, we have an amazing date. If I fight you about it and I don't let you feel your experience, then all of a sudden we don't have a date night. Our whole date night's ruined. So for me to get what I want in the long run, I have to have an abundance mentality where it's going to come back to me and it comes back to me tenfold. When I let something small go, you give back to me in all the loving ways.
And that's what's cool about it is it's all on a subconscious level. I'm not really always aware that you're doing that. And when I give back to you,
it's natural.
It's not because I'm like, he did this for me, so I'm going to do this for him. It's like very subconsciously, like he loved me so well. And I was kind of a nightmare today.
I opened your heart.
I want to love him back well because of how loved I feel. And that's abundance is you give. And so I give back. And it's not, we don't even talk about it. It's felt. And that I think is where I keep coming back to this, like where energy is at play. And it's like an energetically, I feel your love coming to me that in the moment is sometimes like, I don't want to say not deserved, but maybe I am overreacting or, on one for some reason. And you just kind of sit there and you do this thing where you're just like, you almost give me this, like, I'm laughing, but it's, you have this look where you're like, God, you really lost it this time. You were off the deep end and you almost kind of find it funny, but you're like, I love you, but you're wild right now. And that makes me feel loved because you're not mad at me for it. You're not trying to change me. You're not trying to fix me. You're just like, I'm going to let you do your thing. And when you're ready to come back to reality, I'll be over here waiting in reality. And it feels so loving that in return, I want to love you that well.
Yeah, well, in the beginning of our relationship or in the earlier days, I was really frustrated by those events. And when you hurt me, it's like, is this what I can expect? Yep. Like in relationship, I said it before, you're gonna hurt me more than anyone else in my entire life. To not have that expectation is to just be out of reality. When you spend this much time with someone, they're gonna have emotional roller coasters. You're gonna have down days. Bad things are gonna happen in our life that suck, and some days are going to suck. To fight the suck, you're punching the wind. So when you are in a overwhelmed or irritable state or whatever, if I can just swallow it and be who I want to be, which is a loving masculine partner is who I want to be, then that is to just make space for you to feel how you feel in your experience and let you experience it. And then I can, and I was fighting that for a long time. I was like frustrated by that. But in return, when I do that, I get everything back. And learning that and us positive reinforcing, you giving me positive reinforcement around that, and then me experiencing that has just made me stronger and stronger and stronger, because I have history and a track record now of knowing, like last night when you kind of got irritable and frustrated at me, and after yoga, I went in the shower. It was like a really quick little like 2-minute thing that we had where our energy didn't mix well. I went in the shower, I came out and I hugged you and I smiled and just like gave you that look of like, it's all good. It's over. Like, I just squash it. And then you give me this look of just like adoration and this feeling of you feel seen and you feel allowed to flail sometimes, because sometimes we're going to flail.
Yeah, I'm a good flailer for sure.
Yeah, but everyone does it. We get in our experience and we just get overwhelmed. We have a rough thing. You lose a deal, or whatever happens at work, you lose your job. Like, it's really tough. So we have to learn to create space for each other. And so having that abundance mentality, like, this will come back to me. If I choose love right now, like, what is love calling me to do? And if I choose love, it's going to come back to me. And I think in a relationship, it's really hard to have that mindset and not keep score, because you're scared that all your life savings. I mean, when you go into a partnership, you dump everything you have into that partnership. It gets so convoluted. It's really hard to track money and how much people make. And people do that, but it's difficult to all and not have resentment of some kind of, because you can't tally everything unless you're like an accountant. And how do you tally the energy that you give to each other? So there's always resentment if there's a breakup of some kind. But just stop. I would encourage, stop the tallying and choose love and go, what is love calling me to do? And then watch it come back to you.
That's it.
Abundant love.
Yeah. Not scarcity when it comes to love. Because two
doesn't serve you.
people who have a scarcity mindset when it comes to love will dry up a connection like that.
Yep. And then we wonder why, we don't have that spark that we used to have. It's because you're living in the wrong, you're not choosing love every day. And it's not doing the dishes every day. It's not always doing all the cleaning. It's about communication, and it's about in your intuition in the moment. What is love calling me to do?
It's all in the intuition. The answers are inward.
Yeah. And you try things and it doesn't always work out, and it's tough to know, but just take the leap and watch what happens, and then watch what happens, and then you get this positive reinforcement.
Well, this is a fun one.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.